is now that they have it in display and people can actually come and view it as like a tourist attraction. But I read two things. One is that when people leave, they have nightmares about the doll in their dreams.
Yeah.
And the second one is when they're there, people have the perception of the doll opening its mouth, and they're like, it's a porcelain doll, it shouldn't be able to do that. So they like look closer, and then there's like children teeth inside of the mouth and it freaks them out. So not only is she growing hair, but some people say she's growing teeth.
Hi, I'm Em.
And I'm Liv, and we're your Meta PsycKicks.
Today, we're talking about haunted dolls. So hopefully I can get to my questions answered of why dolls? Why do dolls get haunted? But we're also gonna go over what a famous doll. Liv did the research.
Yeah, I did the research. If you guys are new here, we're psychic mediums, and most other platforms, content, whatever, will like tell you about the scary, super duper paranormal history of like places and or things. But when we do it, we do that, but we also read into it. And by read into it, I mean like
Use our psychic abilities.
yeah. So it's fun, it's different, it's quirky. Be excited. So I don't know if I should show you a picture first, or if I should just tell you the name and have you tell me what you think you see.
I don't know. I don't usually do it like this, so
I'm excited.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Also, if you don't know, we are weebs. And in weeb fashion, I picked a haunted doll, not of the Holy Trinity, which I also think it's really funny that somebody on the internet, I think it's really funny that
Say it again.
I think it's really funny that someone on the internet, while I was researching haunted dolls and trying to pick one, referenced Chucky, Annabelle, and Robert the Doll as the quote-unquote Holy Trinity of haunted dolls, because that whole sentence is just horrible.
Chucky's a doll? I thought he was
so.
made up.
Is he?
I don't look up haunted dolls.
I don't know. We're also
The only one I know about is Annabelle.
We're also doing haunted dolls, so like the research sources for these are like posters that somebody took a picture of that was written on a sticky note in someone's bathroom after having a fever dream. Those are our sources.
Yeah, because I was watching the Annabelle movie the other day, and there was a man that was with me that was telling me what actually happened, because when you look up Annabelle, they tell you things that they think happened or what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
So
Quote unquote supposed, alleged, hypothesized, all of that stuff. So today we're going to be talking about Okiku. If I said that wrong, I probably did. I'm sorry. I don't speak Japanese because that's where the doll is from. I'm real excited about this because you love anemones. You excited?
well, they show me this doll, and there's like black stuff raining on top of it. And the doll looks like one of those dolls if you flip them over, their eyes closed. But I don't think that actually happens. They just have like glass eyes that are like rounded, and she has like shoulder-ish length hair that's dark brown. Why?
Fucking weird.
Am I seeing it?
Weird. Okay. So let me show you a picture of Okiku first, and then we'll go into the backstory.
Does it talk? Not like it's not supposed to talk. Like people didn't put a voice box in it, but I think voices happen around it paranormally. Yes, that's exactly what I see. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Now, the only thing is this is a picture of when she was first gotten, or what she would have looked like when they first got her in 1918.
Yes, that's
Now,
what they're showing.
Today, that's what she looks like.
Yeah, they're showing me the one before.
Yeah. But you're like, does it look scarier? That one looks way scarier. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm seeing the first one.
Yeah, like look how round and
why I
like
was
happy
like,
her face is.
Fine. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I'm not sure if they're just showing me like what it was before, because it doesn't look scary.
Yeah.
Other than the black grossness that's raining on top of her.
Yeah, the second one is really scary. When I saw that, I was like, that looks like physically altered. Anyways, freaks me out. Sometime around 1918, there was a young man in Japan who decided to purchase this doll for his little sister. And this man's name, Sorry, everything's Japanese, so I have to look at it to be able to pronounce it.
Oh, is the man dead?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he was alive in 1918.
Oh, I didn't listen to that.
He was 17 years old in 1918.
I just heard a man, and the man came. Because I was like, am I going to really talk to this scary doll? And he's like, I'm here, it's fine.
Yeah, no, his name was Akichi Suzuki. Akichi Suzuki was his name. He was 17 years old, and in 1918, he bought this doll for his sister. And the doll has a traditional kimono, and it's pink. She stands at 40 centimeters or 25 inches. 40 centimeters or 16 inches tall. And she has short black or dark brown hair that when originally purchased was shoulder length, and the traditional, it has a name, traditional hairstyle. Okapa hairstyle, which is just a straight short bob. He bought this doll for his sister, brought it home to her. She was 2 years old. Apparently she loved the doll because, I mean, if you look at the first picture, it's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't like dolls when I was a kid, but that's besides the point. If I was a little girl that liked dolls in 1918, I would be stoked! And she was stoked about this doll. But tragically, she died the next year at 3 years old. Depending on the source that you read, she either died of the flu.
How old was she?
She was 3 when she passed. From the flu or the cold.
This thing mocks her.
One source said yellow fever, but like, I don't know. I don't think yellow fever is correct. I think she just died of a cold, but it's really sad. So during this time, the Suzuki family wanted to bury their daughter with her doll, but for whatever reason, they weren't allowed. So instead, they made a shrine for the doll instead in her honor. And every day, or however they saw fit for their culture and tradition, they would not worship, but like pray to the doll for or in honor of their daughter that passed. Now in 1938, they left the house and the doll was given to a temple. But the reason the doll was given to a temple and not taken with the family was because if you saw the doll in the first picture, she has shoulder-length brown hair, right?
Yeah.
They noticed one day that the doll's hair was growing, which is wild. And in addition to the hair growing, each family member, or according to the stories, the family members would dream about the little girl and weird things would happen. Like the lights would turn on and off. There would be bumps and knocks in the night. Sometimes the family members would dream of it's weird because they're telling me that they dreamt of the doll, not necessarily the little girl. And they thought that it was the little girl because that's what the shrine was made for. And then they would wake up after dreaming of the doll and it would be in their room next to them, which is weird. And one source said that when important dates came up, which were her birthday or the day that she died, the activity would increase. But the family apparently attributed this, like they called it magical abilities of the doll. I never saw it as like spiritual or anything else. They thought it was magical. Was that the soul of their daughter, or Akichi's younger sister, was in the doll. And one source also said the Suzuki family brought in shamans and spiritual leaders to, I don't know, figure out the weird stuff that was going on around the doll. And they were hard set on saying that it was the soul of the daughter that was inside the doll.
It just made itself look like her.
Exactly.
It's horrifying.
It is.
Because it holds that doll and it looks like her, but when you look at its eyes, they're gone. And it's like behind me, laughing like a little girl would, and she's like the size of a 3-year-old.
So yeah, the family thought when they moved in 1938 that the magical abilities of the doll, since the shamans told them that the soul of their daughter was in the doll, they didn't want to take the doll with them because they attributed this doll's magical powers to be related to the close proximity of the child's grave. So they were like, we don't want to take the doll away from her since we weren't able to put the doll in the grave with her, then we'll just leave it here. So they left this doll from their daughter at this temple so that the people there could take care of it. And since 1938, that doll has been on display in a shrine for people to see.
Question.
So, yes.
You said that they made a shrine for the doll.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same shrine?
I just got the same information, and I think it is.
The shrine
but
keeps
I'm not
it
sure.
from f***ing with people.
Mm.
Like in Annabelle, the box.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It doesn't keep it fully in that whatever. However, it does a very good job of it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very elaborate. So I'm assuming that it's the same shrine from the home, but I honestly don't have a definitive answer.
Like if they took the doll out of that shrine and put it in a house, the activity in the house would get really bad really quickly.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. They're also telling me that, because I'm asking them, why do dolls get haunted when little children die? And they're telling me, like, in Harry Potter, in the Horcrux thing, when someone dies, it, like, leaves a hole. Like, does that make sense? It, like, leaves something behind. And because of that, that creates, like, a little dark entity because of the dark energy around it. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse because the people around the person that died or the child that died just keep feeding it because it's not expected. So them putting this doll in a shrine associated the dark energy with this doll, and it just got worse and worse and worse because they kept praying to it, but they weren't praying in a faith of like, I want to, like, I don't know, make sure she's okay. They were praying in the sense of like, I'm so sad that she's gone. So they're putting negative energy into the doll.
Yeah. That's what they explained to me this morning while I was researching it. Although it's not that they create a dark thing, it's that the energy is attracting a dark thing that's already there. Yeah.
It's just the way they explained it. It's like a Horcrux that when someone dies, that's what creates a Horcrux. That's how the Horcrux happens. So they're like, it happens in the same way. A little dark thing attaches itself to the situation, and they feed into it because a child died, so that was really hard. And it, like, they're telling me that they give them the memories that it uses against them. Mm-hmm. And it's just like spits of flashbacks that it replays within the house.
Yeah. Because I was like, there is not a girl associated with this. I see darkness.
Yes.
And it's like a hole of darkness, and it makes me feel like it's an oil slick black.
That's why I see, like, tar rain.
Yeah, it's like slippery. Anyways, so once the doll was given to the temple, the priests were able to confirm a lot of the alleged activity, because again, at this point, it was just like hearsay of this family, and it was 1918. But to this day, there is a priest that says that they had a dream about the doll, and the doll said that it wants its hair to be cut. So they've been cutting its hair since 1938.
Okay.
And I was like, well, what kind of like material was doll hair made out of back then? Because I'm thinking, what can I use to debunk the fact that this hair seems to be growing or has the appearance of growing? And I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's like chemical changes with whatever was in the hair. But again, it's 1918. So like, I don't know if they had the ability to have synthetic hair made for things. So anyways, instead of looking up the scientific way that hair could manifest from atmospheric or environmental changes, people from the temple have taken trimmings of the hair that they trim regularly and sent it to science labs, and the labs have done tests on the hair and have confirmed that it is a child's human hair. And it grows. And I don't know when they started to measure this, but they said that they have measured that the hair has grown, I think it was 10 centimeters, which is, let me just read it.
Does the activity change when they do that?
I have no idea. The hair has grown 25 centimeters or 10 inches.
Because they're telling me There's people on the internet that talk about you holding trauma in your hair. They're saying they're saying the dark thing didn't tell this priest to cut its hair, something else did. And cutting its hair spiritually, because of, like, the people going in and, like, maintaining it, is them directly putting their energy as a wall above it. So it's taking energy away from it when it does that.
Got it. Yeah, it's weird because I saw this thing, and when I saw the first picture, I see it as a normal doll, but then when I see the picture of it now with its raggedy, weird hair, its eyes and its face look different, but its eyes are what, like, suck me in, and I get that gross, slippery, slick, black, cold tar feeling. It's horrible. And I was like, Jesus Christ, there is not a child in this doll. And the girl was like, no, I'm associated with it, but I am most definitely not in it. I am fine.
Well, yeah.
So whatever this thing is, I see like this big, giant, dark, slick, black looking thing, and it gives me a feminine type of energy, but like its hands look like giant claws. They're just pointed and they're way too long for its hands. And like you can't see a face. It's just like this hooded figure, or it looks like a hooded figure. And when it walks, there's just like that, and it's cold oil, slick slime. And it has these big giant like almost like Maleficent type like things that come out its back, like it's wearing like a weird cape or something. But I don't like it. It's gross. And I feel like when the weird things started happening in their house, when they first had the doll before they gave it to the temple, it was like much different. But now that's what this thing looks like.
You mean it became this thing? Got you. What did it look like before?
I see like this little tiny brown thing that like runs around and is more mischievous than anything else.
Yeah, got you.
But since it's been around since 1918 and all these people have been able to put their energy into it with all of the different stories and renderings of the stories, it's different. So there's actually animes made out of this story too.
Okay.
You're welcome. I just wanted to let you know.
What are they about?
Well, there's two different things. We're going to talk about the second one in the podcast. So if you're interested in that idea and the ideas around it, Okiku is actually a character from a play that was written or first acted out in 1741 in Japan. So that makes me think that the girl's name was not Okiku. It was actually probably Kikuko or Kyoko instead, and the little girl named this doll after the character in the play because she would have known this play.
So is that why all dolls get haunted? Or sometimes there's people associated with dolls?
Well, yes, human souls can be associated with dolls. However, entities can also be associated with
dolls.
With dolls. But both human souls and entities can also be associated with dolls. So I think it's very, very specific on the circumstances and the human soul. So like one girl that's on TikTok has a haunted doll. And Em and I have talked to the soul in the doll, and it is definitely like a human soul, and I don't see any other dark thing associated with it. But the circumstances in which this little girl died, I think was in like the American Southwest during cowboy days. And when she died, some man had given her this doll because when she moved, you know, like what is it? What's Oregon Trail style to where she was fine, but then she ended up getting sick once they settled in this town. But she had gotten this doll from somebody that had been in town, and when she passed, she was like, well, this is good enough.
Yeah, they're telling me that dolls get haunted more than other things because there's a different association with seeing things that look like humans. They're saying it's a mixture of being afraid of dolls because they're not exactly like humans, and our natural instinct is to be very put off by things that look humanesque but aren't humanesque. And it's also associated with a attachment to when someone dies, this looks like them. because they're showing me like American Girl dolls, and when you get an American Girl doll, it's supposed to look like you.
I've never liked dolls.
I mean, I know.
Okay. I also have a fear of things that are in costumes, so because my brain's like, I don't understand why that's moving. I understand why that's moving, but my initial fear is, please, we need to run in the opposite direction with our head down and in a zigzag formation.
But yeah, that's what they're telling me, because most people think that dolls get haunted because it's a lost soul that is trying to find a body to be in.
Oh.
But I think that's inaccurate, because I don't think they need a body. I think they're just associating themselves because they look human.
I would have never thought that.
That's what people say on the internet.
Oh. Well, I'm glad I didn't research that.
Because, like, there are people that like to collect dolls, so they have lots of dolls within one space, and they usually are very haunted because there's so many dolls, but I don't think they're necessarily haunted because they are, like, a human body for some spirit to, like, possess or whatever.
Oh, no, I think
it's just a very odd feeling walking into a room with a whole bunch of dolls.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
There's one other doll that we could talk about, but I didn't research it. It's one of the dolls named, I think, Rosie, that Zach Bagans has in his museum. But I think she has human souls associated with her, which is different, and I wanted to talk about the energy around her. But we can do that in the podcast.
So if you guys are interested in us talking about more dolls and more creepy things, make sure to check out our podcast. However, in our next video, what are we talking about?
Spirits?
We're either going to talk about nature spirits, or we're going to have Liv's mom on the show again.
Dude, the nature spirits are happy today. I told you that. I can feel it.
So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
We are your Meta PsycKicks.
Also, check out these lovely patrons. Become a patron. And then your name will pop up here, maybe. If I remember.
Jeez.
So, I went to this antique shop, and they had a whole bunch of dolls there. What? And I took a picture. And there's this one doll that's super freaking weird. And I was like, is this doll haunted? And what did you say?
Which one?
I asked you if this one was haunted.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. It's definitely this one, and then that's the one that has the nice lady that talks about those two.
So what she told me, I basically told her that this one really creepy doll seems haunted to me. And the reason why I feel like it's haunted is because it literally feels hollow inside. And I was like, this is a really gross feeling. And I'm like walking away from the doll, and there's another spirit of a woman that's coming up to me, and she was like, you should also think that it's haunted, because that's not a normal feeling. That's not like something that people feel when they look at creepy things. So this doll is haunted, but when I showed her this picture, the doll in the blue is the one that she says like would move things around the room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, both of them are gross. I am not a doll person.
But yeah, the woman spirit that I was talking to is actually associated with one of the other dolls in this picture too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get haunted dolls, you don't have to go to eBay and spend lots of money. Just go to a thrift shop.